Hi, I'm Peter Smith from Spend Matters UK Europe, and in this series of videos we're talking about the future of procurement. In our last instalment we looked at the focus too many organisations have on cost reduction as the key central role of procurement. We also touched on the related issue of savings measurement and how we're not even very good at doing that, which is a bit fundamental when our organisations are expecting cost reduction. But if cost reduction shouldn't be the central role of procurement, and if we don't see that as a satisfactory or convincing future for the profession, what should we be doing? The secret, I think, is alignment with the wider corporate goals. Now, that's not some brilliant new idea I've come up with. I found a presentation in my study the other day, or notes from a presentation I went to, which must have been from at least 15 years ago, which talked about exactly these ideas. And if you talk about alignment with corporate goals at conferences, everybody will sit and nod. But we tend not to then go to the next stage and actually think about what that really means for procurement, and what do we need to be doing, and how do we need to change what we're doing. So if we need to align with them, what are the key goals of most organisations? And I'm talking principally private sector organisations here. Well, it's unlikely to be purely cost reduction, unless perhaps you're Ryanair or a company like that. Most organisations have a central goal, which is to maximise shareholder value. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, it's very simply the value of the organisation based on both its current performance and looking into the future. And that usually has four key elements. The first is profitability. Absolute profit, but profit margin probably even more important in many ways. The second is revenue growth, and that's key because when we look at shareholder value is measured very strongly on the future projection of company earnings, which of course comes back to revenue growth. So an organisation with high revenue growth will be valued much higher for the same level of profit as one that isn't growing. The third is reputation. Whether it's corporate reputation or brand reputation, it clearly has a big impact on the perception that the company has in the market, and therefore the shareholder value now and into the future. And the fourth is around use of capital. It may be a major focus on working capital, but there could be issues about wider capital management as well. Clearly an organisation delivering a certain level of profit and revenue is worth more, has higher shareholder value if it's not using a lot of capital compared to one that is. So if these are the four most fundamental elements of shareholder value, and therefore the key corporate goals and objectives that most CEOs and boards are worried about, it stands to reason really that procurement needs to align with those goals and support them, and be working to help the organisation achieve better results in those areas. So how do we do that? That's the next step. What does procurement actually need to do, to think about, to focus on, in order to help their organisations in that way? So we'll start looking at the issues of how procurement actually supports those agendas in our next videos.